wish the weather could be like this year-round.
As long as it stays here, that's fine.
I'll probably stay here. Speaking of staying here, I finally went public with light details around a Star Wars event specifically designed for Star Wars content creators, curators, people in the community, people like me, people who like talking about Star Wars and sharing our thoughts in social media, doing videos or creating things for other people to share. It's a very small group, but a group that definitely would like to meet each other. So I've found a venue here in Seattle, and it's likely going to be happening in August this year. And if it's successful enough, and I would consider it a success if I don't lose money at it, unlike Vlogger Fair, I'd probably do something like that in Seattle every year, a Star Wars event, a very, very small, independently produced, unofficial Star Wars event. So unofficial, I don't even think I'm going to be able to use Star Wars or anything like it in the title. I don't even have a title, but people are interested. I mentioned it yesterday, and quite a few caught the announcement and pledged their support, which is always exciting when you put something out there and you get the support of the people that you were hoping to get your support from. And that's giving me enough energy to move forward with the idea. So, you may be able to meet me in Seattle this August at a Star Wars event if you consider yourself a Star Wars fan of any kind, or if you create Star Wars content. And I'm pretty sure that most of the people in my community, oddly enough, are not necessarily Star Wars fans, which is kind of bizarre to me. It's like you are what you eat, well, you also are what you tweet, and I tweet so much of it. I think it was the first Star Wars figure that I got for 99 cents that really started it all for me, and it got restarted in recent years, and now I have an inner child which has been awakened by Jedi, her being a child outright. I have a chance to live vicariously, not that I'm living my childhood vicariously. I had a great childhood, honestly, with my parents, and they enabled my passions. I've also been considering working with other people to set up some kind of swap meet or a geek flea market that would of course involve Star Wars stuff and potentially other fandoms as well. And in seeding the idea to a couple of locals, they seem to be amenable to working together. So there's a possibility that I'll be doing way more events in the future in the Seattle area, not just these types of conferences that might only happen once a year. A geek flea market every weekend would be fun, but not practical to do, and not easy, but I think it would be something that I would be interested in throwing a lot of my time into. I mean, not in only preparing for it, but also actually doing it. I would love to go to a geek flea market every weekend. Wouldn't you? But you probably wouldn't unless you were a geek. And you may not be, and you may be, or you may know a geek. I don't know. It's just a part of my identity. The other part is loving coffee. I drink coffee every day, though. I know there are coffee events out there, too. There are probably events out there for people who love rain, and people who hate rain, too. I'm pretty sure there are events for those, too.
Where's that at?
Not here. As far as Vlogger Fair is concerned, I think we don't yet have a date for it. I believe Vlogger Fair will be happening. If Vlogger Fair happens this year, it probably would not happen at the same time as a Star Wars event, and it would likely be focused more on people like me. More on people. I mean, gearing it towards producers rather than making it a full-on fan fest, designing the content to be more like Gnome Decks was back in the day, a very, very tight-knit group of people. And if I focus in on media producers like myself, I get questions all the time related to my experience with business over the past 20 years, my experience with video, YouTube, or just this content production industry in general. The video producers out there from last year were far more interested in the first day than they were the second and third day. The first day was more like the classic Gnome Decks, a single track event that was packed with education. That's also something that I want to do in the Star Wars event, like an education track. We can teach people about the ins and outs of Star Wars, or collecting, or community, or projects. There are tons of groups out there that build their own costumes or uniforms or items, and I don't know of any other place, at least in the Seattle area, that would provide that kind of education beyond the bigger cons. What do you think? I replaced all the knobs. And that way, if you accidentally slip and fall, you won't hurt yourself. Plus, I put some Velcro on the padding that fits outside the knob, when you inevitably pull them off, we can put them back on. Jedi, I need that, baby. I need that, thank you. All right. Are you ready to go eat some pasta? Safety first. This is kind of like the Last Supper. One of you will betray me. This is one of the last nights that Noonie and Joe Pa are in town this time around. They'll be back for future events, not to say that they were here for a specific event this time around. And to celebrate, we are returning to the place where I first called Diana my girlfriend. Remember that? Yeah. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain, and that's all I'm going to sing from the lyrics of that song. What are we going to do without them?
I know. Look, she's so happy.
Mom? Uh-oh.
I did it. All by myself.
We can't take him anywhere, can we?
I just like the term.
Time to edit the vlog! Thanks again for taking the time to watch, like, share, subscribe, leave positive comments, participate with us on this and every other social platform every single day, and of course, supporting us in whatever ways that you see fit. We'll see you tomorrow.